Okay. So we're here. Game 1. Match number 1 for me this week. And they're on Esper party with Tazri. They basically don't have any... Oh, yeah. They really don't run any green or red in their list. And this is a very, very interesting keep in my opinion. We are going to keep this based on the knowledge, like what type of party deck they're running. They have a solid 1-drop, that's kind of what I was afraid of. I think it's more important to get the Ledger Shredder out on turn 2 than it is to like try. Like if this was an untapped blue source, that would be obviously, like we would have obviously played just Parasite on turn 1, but we don't want to gamble. Yeah, the reason why this works is because we know their list, right? Unless they high roll, and they currently are going pretty well here. And there are not really going to be any surprises. A threat like Ledger Shredder can really take the game over on its own, especially if they're very likely to double spell here with a Watcher of the Spheres in play, because their flying creatures cost 1 less, right? And then we're really hoping to get a Kira Great Glass Spinner out on the field. Like, the best thing for us is if they just fully tap out, and then we have a Kira and a Ledger Shredder, right? Something to protect our big threat and, you know, a big threat. And then from those turns onwards, we're likely wanting to just keep up Disdainful Strokes, Brazen Borrows, and then we should hopefully get this game. Okay, they have any color currently open. And I believe we just play Kira. Oh yes, and it is in there. And I don't think the 1 point of damage is worth considering considering that they can just swing back with like a Cloudkin Seer here for 2 power. And yeah. Let's see. They are able to play Tazri, Beacon of Unity. But again, I really don't feel too threatened by this card because it is fairly expensive to activate. And we can always just bounce it with a Brazen Borrow if we want to. Okay, Tazri comes down. And now the real interesting part begins. I do feel like we're going to play this on white. Possibly. I really feel like we want to double spell in this case. And if we do that, we usually go with like Rigo Pharisee. But I think the best thing is like we want to play the Rigo when we can attack with a 1-drop on the field, obviously, right? But we also want to double spell. So if we go just Para Sentinel Pharisee, we're going to set up for a Rigo next turn. We get to connive. We don't need a Hope of Girapur. I don't think a Spell Pierce against them is too valuable at this point. Let me check their list online again. We could also keep this island on top, just to like jam Imrith next turn with yeah, this is an advisor, not a wizard. So if they double spell, we get to connive once, connive twice, and then we have an Imrith with a Spell Pierce backup. If we keep both of these on top, kind of like it. So now the opponent kind of needs to play a bit into our hands, right? In a way. So how is their party looking like? Wizard, wizard, wizard. Okay, they only have wizards, which is great for us. Again, if they double spell, I'm not even sure what I would like to like. Oh, I put these in the wrong order, right? Oh yeah, that's pretty bad. It's okay, I guess. Tazri attacks. Sure, we take the 4. Come on, double spell? No, not even a single spell. Okay. Rigo coming in. And we do have Spell Pierce up. Sure. We're just going to pay for that. Should have paid with the Kira though, not with the Pharisee, because we kind of want to attack with that. So, made a pretty decent... Yeah, that was a mistake on my end. Okay, shields down, which is kind of unfortunate. If they get rid of Rigo somehow, like, I believe they are not running any board wipes, right? Yeah, apart from River's Rebuke, there is nothing in terms of board wipes. Yeah. Oh no, Meathook Massacre as well. River's Rebuke and Meathook Massacre. I believe this is a pretty safe block here, just saving for life right now, because they don't have damage-based removal. Okay. I would have obviously loved to, like, have this island in play right now instead of the Spell Pierce in hand. Okay. I believe we are just going to swing in with the Pharisee, basically cycling it to draw a card. Okay, now we have the option of Brazen Borderer, Moonblade Shinobi, and 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. But that leaves us with, like, we don't have Disdainful Stroke up if we do exactly that. That's kind of a problem in my opinion. So we just let that go through. Okay. And I do believe we just want to jam Nimrith here, based on what board wipes they have. Okay. That goes to top, we let that resolve, we still have a Spell Pierce up. That is indeed fine. I believe, yeah, even if they go Land Drop and Meathook Massacre for 4, we are just going to Spell Pierce that. Pretty great. Okay. We're going to take the next 4 from Tazri again. We kind of really want to double spell so that we have a 5 toughness Ledger Shredder. Because then we can start, like, blocking the Tazri. At least they don't run combat tricks. No, not really. No blocks. No combat tricks. And let's see. So one thing that's kind of annoying is if we try to Brazen Borrow something and they have blue up, they can just counter that ability. But given how they tapped here, we are... Oh, wow. Oh, they don't want to... interesting. So they kept up blue. What does that mean? What can even counter the Imrith at this point in time? Arona's Vortex is something... No, that doesn't even counter the Imrith. Make Disappear, Memory Lapse they already used. Lofty Denial is something that I can definitely see happening here. Okay. So, if we attack with the Ledger Shredder, and they block with these 3 flyers, the Ledger Shredder is pretty much dead, because they can counter the first Brazen Borrow activation, and then I don't get a second spell here. This is a very tricky spot. Very interesting. I think we're just going to pass turn, and then end step maybe try to do something with the Brazen Borrower. maybe bait them to use a spell right now. Okay, they tapped out. Yep. And that means that we can just return the Tazri. Going to cost 3 mana though. Yep. And we're going to use the Brazen Borrower here to get a second spell in our turn. And I don't believe we're going through for a Moonblade Shinobi right now. So that can just go. The Vala Shield of Seagate was a card that I kind of was considering for this deck, but its one-time use is kind of annoying. Like, for this specific Rigo deck, I felt like Kira Great Glassspinner was better, and I didn't feel the need of a second of these effects. So we do hold up a Spell Pierce again. If they try to Meathook Massacre or River's Rebuke here, we do have the protection for that, and basically everything else we don't care about in a way. Okay, and I do believe we just, you know, start chunking in with the Brazen Borrower. Brazen Borrower swinging in. They probably block it with the Siren Storm Tamer, but that would actually be pretty great, because then we can Giant Killer their Tazri when that comes down again. So, be pretty interesting. Okay, Warrior, Cleric, Wizard. So this costs 2 currently. They can just play Tazri for 2, that's pretty good. And they are going to do that, we get to connive, and I do believe we need all of these cards. They also kind of really want to grow the Ledger Shredder as well here. Disdainful Stroke. What is this even countering at this point? Very important cards actually, like, yeah, Flash Threats, mostly Flash Threats, Rankle, but those are also managed by whatever else I have going on here. So let's just get rid of a Disdainful Stroke. Okay. This is fine. Let's see. Another pretty cool thing about this Rigo deck is that, oh yeah, perfect. Negate is basically countering everything that's for a higher mana that we want to counter anyways, plus some extra stuff. I believe we can just freely swing in with a Ledger Shredder and a Brazen Borrower. And if they don't block the Brazen Borrower, no, we don't have anything to ninjutsu off of, but I guess that's fine right now. Okay, now we put on the pressure. 1, 2, 3. We play Imrith with negate backup if they decide that it's worth countering the Imrith. Okay, they don't counter the Imrith. I was going to say they would possibly just let this die so we can hold up negate for something else that's more relevant. Okay, so we either have Spell Pierce or negate up. Sadly, not both. Spell Pierce, the later the game goes on, the less value it has. So maybe now that we have the negate, I think there's a real argument to discarding that with the Ledger Shredder, and probably going to do exactly that the next opportunity we get. Okay. What's pretty interesting is that they can blank our attacks for 1 turn with this Vala Shield of Seagate. Yeah, this used up their blue mana, so they don't have another blue for the Siren Storm Tamer. So that means we can Giant Kill it. We can also Moonsnare Specialist, returning the Nirvana to their hand. They can't really do anything about that. So Moonsnare costs 4, and then Giant Killer costs 3 that taps out, and kind of don't want to tap out. But I also really want to attack with these. The safest thing to do here is probably just play Moon Snare and not giant killering the Tazri. And we're going to return the Linvala. And if they make their creatures indestructible in response, but they're not going to. So yeah, we're just going to pass the turn. But since that didn't happen, we can't just attack this way. We're going to be pretty happy about that. Okay, Imrith. Now we also got rid of the Siren Stormhammer. Pretty annoying card. Okay, that was one of those flash threats I was talking about earlier. Interestingly enough, this is power, not toughness for a greater, so we can't kill the Glorious Protector with a Giant Killer. But, and that's the good part, we can still swing in. One of these creatures is going to die, but not both of them, very likely. Another thing we can do is we can just use Giant Killer in their end step and then just play it as a creature, waiting one turn and then start tapping down their creatures so we have better attacks. So let's see. Linvala coming down again, sure. Yep, growing the Watcher of the Spheres. They're likely not going to attack in with the Watcher, I'd imagine. They only have one white source, so they can't actually flash in a Glorious Protector here. Let's see. The kill spell. Does that matter? No, because our Kira protects the team. I believe we're going to kill the Tazri on attack. They do decide to attack. Kind of really need to we're at 13, it's fine, right? But okay. Let's start by killing the Tazri. We're never going to block with the Kira, that's why we're going to tap it. And then we see what they decide with this Linvala. And if they give Tazri indestructible, I think it's definitely worth considering to not block anything. I mean, we're going to take 10. That's down to 3. Oof, that is very scary. Do they have any direct damage? They can haste in the air with Rankle. They can give a +1/+1 counter at instant speed with Wandering Emperor. But it's... Oh, they are not deciding to give it indestructible. That is very good for us. Because the way they probably see it is that... I think we're just going to trade the Rigo. Rigo is definitely never really going to be part of our game plan right now. So we want to use the fact that he is not part of our game plan and trade him away aggressively. Okay, and here's the thing. If they gave everything indestructible, they know we have a bunch of removals still in our deck. So if they protected their team and then I was able to remove the Watcher of the Spheres in my turn, then that would mean that they just die in there exactly, right? Well, even more. So, yeah, this is a very scary situation for them to be in. Why? I'm not exactly sure what they meant with that, to be perfectly honest. Okay, we're not like we could swing with Kira, right? But then they have blocks in a way where the Kira dies and they're not dead, so I'm not really fond of that. I don't think swinging with the, like playing Rigo, swinging with the just Parasecton is worth it, just simply because that costs way too much mana. So we're going to stick with the plan of attacking with Imrith, attacking with Ledger Shredder. Nothing fancy. We're going to protect our cards with Spell Pierces and Negates. And the Glorious Protector. So that's what I mean, why they can play it. Oh, the Glorious Protector actually costs 3 mana right now, which is kind of really interesting. I was just looking it up. The cost gets reduced by 1 white. Maybe they mean this. Okay, if we swing in with everything, our team is protected by Kira, right? So, yeah. So they can kill one of these things with the Glorious Protector. Oh, that's very unfortunate. Yeah, we're just going to pass the turn and play Giant Killer. I feel like that's just definitely the safest option. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Giant Killer, Rigo, and then we keep up 2 mana for the Negate. So that's pretty great. Feel like Spell Pierce is a less valuable card at this point than Make Disappear on the gate. I would consider keeping the Spell Pierce if we had 3 mana up right now, right? Because then that would allow to Spell Pierce plus Negate or Spell Pierce plus Make Disappear. But this way we do have... oh, they didn't play the Protector. Interesting. This way we have the best counter spells up for future turns. Very interesting. I think I feel like they should have end-stepped the Glorious Protector just to have the body on the field. Okay, let's see. Fiend coming down. I think we're just fine with that. If they swing in, they are going to die, right? So like, that's probably not the safest play for them. We can also sacrifice the Jespersen to Make Disappear, which is pretty great. Do we crack this fetch now? Do we keep it up to loot away with the Ledger? Like, do we keep it in hand to loot away with the Ledger Shredder? Interesting. Okay, I think we are going to start by tapping down their highest power creature here. We're going to swing in with these two. Maybe Rigo. Yeah, I do like the attack with Rigo as well. And then we can tap down, that you Make Disappear, Casualty, sacrifice the Sentinel, counter it. And then we also have Negate up, which is pretty great. Okay. And if they have a second spell, we get to connive. Yep. And I feel like this position is just very, very good for us. They block, and sacrifice the Linvala to give Indestructible, I assume. No, they didn't give Indestructible with the Linvala. Interesting. We're going to keep this Fabled Passage in hand for Ledger Shredder-based reasons. We have enough mana already, and the deck thinning is probably not relevant. Yeah, and they pack it up. GG! Game 2 against Tazri. And one goes first, because we won the first one. Interesting hand. Kind of like it. Yeah, we get to play Ceruli Caretaker on one. We get to play Silver Raven turn 2, hold up Memory Lapse. Pretty solid. Oh, we can also go for a turn. For a turn to Rigo attack with the Kami. Let me check their list. If how many 2-drops they have. Let's give them a quick thinking. Sorry, opponent, if you're waiting too long here, because that is already a pretty difficult decision in my opinion. Over the long run, I think the Silver Raven is the safer play for sure. They didn't play a 1-drop. Basically all of the 1-drops are like... they just have such a... They have such a high density of 2-drops that I believe that the best play is still Ceruli Caretaker the Silver Raven Memory Lapse turn 2. We can still play the Kami if we want to. Yeah. Interesting. That has 1 toughness though, so we could have had actually played the Rigo here. So play the Silver Raven first, and depending on what's on top, we can play the Kami or not. Do we need the Mistcloak Herald? How many flyers do they run? A decent amount, so the unblockable is actually pretty relevant in my opinion. What 2-drops are they running that are worth countering? Not many, but the ones they do run are pretty brutal. What if we don't need to commit to the Kami? The good thing is if we Kami now, then we can go Rigo plus Memory Lapse next turn, which is also very relevant. Tough spot, really tough spot. Let's play the Kami. Okay. Yeah, we give them 1 additional turn, but the reason why this I like this play currently is because we have the Witness Protection to actually get rid of important threats here. Then just, you know, Rigo plus Memory Lapse makes me feel so much safer here. We also have the, like, we have an additional creature on the field. Yep. Rigo, they counter. It's fine. We Memory Lapse. Oh. Nothing like that is happening. Interesting. Do they have exile-based removal? Brazen Borrower. And Memory Lapse. Do they spell pierce our Memory Lapse? They do spell pierce our Memory Lapse indeed. I think that is pretty fine for us. Let's just attack with the Silver Raven. We keep the Kami back to block the Nimble Trap Finder. I'm still not exactly sure who's the aggressor in this matchup and who not, so I'm kind of hesitant to attack with the Kami. If I was 100% sure, that I'd say, okay, this Kami is crashing in because the damage is worth it. Okay. I believe we'll just play out the Rigo. Let get countered. That's fine. Oh wow. 6 cents. If they now have a kill spell for the Silver Raven, we get heavily punished. Oh, do we draw 2 here? Is the question. We indeed draw 2. Okay. I believe it's pretty important to get the unblockable out since they have the Brazen Borrow. Also, the unblockable creature allows us to ninjutsu, because we kind of don't want to ninjutsu the Silver Raven, because that is currently enchanted and the enchantment will fall off. Maybe it's actually just a good idea to Witness Protection the Brazen Borrow, although they have way bigger threats in their deck that we want to Witness Protection. In this spot, if we think that the opponent is not able to answer this in a timely manner, maybe it's just worth it to say, okay, we use this as a, draw 2 additional cards. 1 mana, draw 2 cards, because they are unable to block, and that's why our Silver Raven connects 2 additional times here. Although we kind of don't have the option here to Witness Protection the Brazen Borrow, right? Because the card has Flash. Oh yes, we are very happy with that. Well, not very happy, it's just that we did turn the card into actual, card advantage. Okay, if they killed a Mistglow Carrot right now, that would also be decently unfortunate, but we still have options here, right? Silverquill, Silencer attacking and not the Trap Finder. Do they have kill spells on? Honestly, if they are, I was going to say, if they point a kill spell at Rigo here after we block this, be our guest opponent, right? We could also just go ahead and block this. This is a rogue. This is also a rogue, so they will have rogues. Not too interested there. If we play out the Rigo, it gets counterplayed out again. Like the Silverquill Silencer does a lot here. Maybe we would just want to Witness Protection that. So play Witness Protection. Play out Rigo. Get to swing in. Yep, with these 2. We ninjutsu the Kami of Bamboo Groves to our hand. Oh wow. Okay. Aravandal blocking the Kami. Interesting. Okay, and Jukai Liberator ninjutsuing in. Question is, if we choose land or non-land. Kind of feel non-land here. Oh yes, immediately rewarded. We play this out. Shield's kind of down, but the Wandering Emperor killing an attacker, gaining us some life, that's just really nice. So again, we could have made our land drop here with Jukai Liberator, but I feel like we just need action in this spot and we have enough mana. Like if we go land and then we draw another land, so we have 2 cards that we can play maybe, right? 1, 2 cards. And we have more than enough mana for that. Oh. Destroying our unblockable creature, sure, that is fine. And we are 100% going to swing in with the Jukai Liberator. And we get to play a Ledger Shred as well. Pretty good. I believe we play this Ledger Shredder pre-combat, so in case we drop a Wandering Emperor during our combat step, we get to connive. Okay. So we get to kill the Fairy Vandal. And we get to put a counter on the Jukai Liberator and give it first strike with Erdhei Resurrected. And I don't think the one thing. Oh yeah, there's an argument to discard the land here, and it's very interesting because if we discard the land, the Ledger Shredder stays at 1 power, so we get to draw a card off of Rigo on attack. If they now double spell and we draw non-land, we are kind of forced to discard a non-land, which we don't want, so that's actually pretty hilarious. Interestingly enough, I'm probably going to spell Pelios literally anything they play right now, just to stop them from dropping down to 2 cards on the field. And maybe they see the line here, but I don't think it's correct from their point of view to actually... Oh no, they can't even play over. Okay, so now we get to... I believe we just put a counter on the Jukai Liberator to grow it larger than Tazri. Swing in for 1, draw a card. Do we Prosperous Thief? Sure, why not? Treasure. Oh, whoa, I just... Oh no. Oh no, I accidentally pressed space, so we were supposed to play the land here, play a Ledger Shredder. Now that's kind of a problem. Okay, yeah, that's definitely on us. The good thing is the Jukai Liberator will actually be a 6/6, so that is hugely relevant. And I think there is also a big argument to be made to sacrifice the Rigo to the Make Disappear to counter the Brazen Borrower if they decide to play that card right now. Let's draw first to make a more informed decision. Make Disappear. Sacrifice. Let's just Rigo or Prosperous Thief. We can block here, right? Rigo is more value in the long term. Like that also we get to make treasures with our Jukai Liberator if we swing in while we have a Prosperous Thief on the field. Pretty cool. The reason to do this, like, is if they like attack all out here. They can't attack because if they go all out, we just swing for like 8, and then they're down to 3, and that's a huge problem for them. So maybe, although kind of like this, like it's just so important to put this up to 6. So, Guru, coming down. Oh yeah, and that is just lethal. Okay, Time Warp is indeed first lethal. Yep. Search for a... Let's say land, sure. And we don't forget to play our Time Warp here. And that is the game. GG. Not a big misclick, but it's fine. It's fine. GG.